Hello fellow Flameborns, this is Roby here, and in this video we'll be going through the new patch notes for Enshrouded. The patch just dropped a few hours ago, and this brings the Enshrouded client to version 0.7.0.1, and this is a pretty big one in terms of the fixes to the game Enshrouded itself. Okay? Now let's go through this. The very first thing it says here is that here is our first big patch for Enshrouded. Thanks to all of you who reported issues. Your support is as helpful as it is motivating for us. For those of you playing with dedicated servers, you will need to ensure the servers run the same version as the game, which means that there's probably some kind of check to make sure that the client you run on your machine is the same as the version running on the server itself. It's similar to other games like Ark and stuff like that. Now, the patch note starts off by talking about a known issue that some users are running into after this patch, which is not enough system memory available error message whenever they start the game itself. Now, the patch note says here that this error message triggers when your machine is under 16 gigs of RAM. It is there to warn you that your experience will probably be pretty bad. You can bypass by adding disable RAM check to the game's launch options via Steam to ignore the warning. Keep in mind that if your computer is below specs, it might not be able to run the game in the long run once we have added all the features we have in mind for Enshrouded. We do know they have a lot of things planned for this game itself. Now let's go through the changelogs itself, which is where the meat of the new patch is. Now for the changelog, the note starts with stability and performance. It starts by saying fixed several rare crashes. Fix the crash that will appear on AMD GPUs while compiling shaders. Improve performance in various systems of the game. Added more messages in the log file to improve stability monitoring. Error messages cannot be correctly dismissed with mouse clicks. And then it goes on to multiplayer and servers. Fixed an issue that sometimes prevented successful login into a dedicated server. Improved error message handling when trying to join a host with a mismatching version. The Steam community content preferences are now supported for the server list in the join menu, which is pretty good. In regards to rendering, it talks about improving instances where too low resolution of texture was used on objects in the world. I personally have run into this a few times, especially when I'm building, wherein I put down a block and it's showing the low texture version of those blocks itself. Also, in some rare instances, it shows low res textures for plants and trees and stuff like that. So it's a good thing that's been fixed there. Now, in regards to the game world itself, the fixes are as follows, and this is a pretty big one here, especially for those playing on dedicated servers. The timer of the reset of content in the game world has been lowered to 30 minutes. It used to be 2 hours before. So this is a big welcome change. And the reason why this is good is that this events or activities done in the game can be done more frequently, since it's now down to 30 minutes as opposed to 2 hours before. The reset still only occurs while no player is in the direct vicinity of the part of the world that needs resetting, which means that as long as no player is within that area of that event itself, it will start the countdown timer of 30 minutes, and after 30 minutes that event itself will reset, which is good. Also in the game world, an issue that sometimes led to a blocked door at the entrance of the Cinder Vault's starting location has been fixed. That is good. Adding a few more terrain material deposits in key locations. Improved the visibility of amber nodes and added a few locations in the game world where amber can be found. That is actually pretty good. Improved scattering of tumbleweeds in the Nomad Heights. Several points of interest have been polished concerning visuals, chest locations, and gameplay. Fixed several areas in the wall where the path was blocked by dirt. Improved visuals for the ground fog and added more ground fog to the Revel Woods, which is good also. Gives it that immersive feeling there. Now, in regards to gameplay, this is also equally good. Now, the recipe for the rake is now correctly unlocked. The first magical storage chest is now available earlier in the crafting progression. For further information, visit your local blacksmith. This is actually really good because the magical storage chest is one that allows you to craft without having the resources in your inventory, but in the chest itself. And so having the first one being available earlier on in the game is actually pretty good, as opposed to shuffling items from your regular chest to your inventory while you're going to the crafting station or the person you're trying to craft with. So that's actually pretty good. Now, the crafting quests from the blacksmith now includes armor pieces in its completion requirement. It also auto-completes after clearing the first elixir wall. That is great. The second tier glider, advanced glider, cannot be crafted earlier in the crafting progression. This is fantastic news because the advanced glider is much better than the default one, the first one you get. And so it being earlier, you being able to get access to it earlier during your playthrough is also pretty good. Fixed an issue with a quest about upgrading equipment that allowed completion without having all the required runes. When upgrading equipment, the necessary runes are now also taken from magical storage chests. Yes! Yes, this is good. It's about time they did this, because each time I needed to upgrade equipment, I always had to go to one of my chests, look for where the rune is stored, put it in my inventory before I can also go to the NPC that I can use to upgrade any of my equipment. So now with runes needed for upgrading equipment being pulled from the magical storage chests, that is a welcome addition there. That's good quality of life improvement there. Lower the cost for tin bars to align them better with similar recipes. That is good because some of the recipe requirements, some of the material cost requirements for some recipes using tin bars was just not balanced at all. It was a lot higher than others. So then bringing it back down in line with other recipes is actually pretty good. Fixed a few incorrect ingredients in tier 4 recipes. Fixed the bug where stamina for jumping wasn't deducted correctly with certain items selected in the action bar. Now a normal jump always costs nothing, while a sprint jump and a double jump always use up their intended stamina cost. Fix the bug where players could seamlessly chain long sprint jumps and therefore traverse the map faster than intended. Now it is required to take a short run-up for every long sprint jump. Fix the bug where players could interact with hook anchors behind player camera. Fix the bug where using a glider could allow the player to use hook anchors from a longer distance than intended. Fix the bug where interacting with a bed could lead to the player character floating upwards continuously. I've seen this a few times and it is hilarious though. Dreams should not be this powerful. It fixed the warrior skill Observe. Nerfed the skill Water. Oh no, this is the first nerf here. Nerfed the skill Water R. It was just too good. Well, they are right there though, because my mage right now with the Water R, I didn't have to worry about using my potions or my bandages. As long as I've not been hit for like a second or so, Water R just starts healing me back up pretty quickly. So I understand the nerf there. It was too good. It was like a must-have skill for mages or for spellcasters. So, well, I'm gonna go in the game and test it. Hope it wasn't nerfed too hard though. But yeah, I understand where they're coming from. Buffed the tier 3 Ice Bolt spell by adding area damage. That is good because the Ice Bolt spell, I rarely used it because it wasn't as good as the Firebolt spell or the Acid Spit spell. The Ice Bolt spell lagged behind out of all the different spell options you have. And so them buffing the tier 3 version of it to add area damage is actually pretty good. Fix several incorrect item levels for weapons. reduced the damage from some poison attacks, especially the poison attack from the scavenger matron that caused too much damage. That is good. I remember my first encounter with that, and yeah, poison hurts. Fixed collision issues with the fell spitting plant. Bats should now spawn more reliably. Fixed several instances of enemy sounds that were played too loudly in multiplayer. Several skill VFX have been fixed or improved. Fixed 2 incorrect weapon models. Fixed a few visual issues with armor. Yeah. So the set I'm wearing right now, whenever I jump or roll, the lower part of the chest beat clips into the rest of my body, and it's funny, it makes me look a lot fatter than I am in the game. Now, in regards to building and terraforming, and since I'm a builder, this is of big interest to me. Fixed a bug where single terrain voxel placement with the build hammer could add a larger terrain volume than intended. I've seen that a few times. Removed the undo button hint when the building menu is closed and the undo function is no longer available. Oh well, yeah, that's good. I remember when I first started building in the game and I undid a few pieces accidentally, and the undo function is not necessary really, since you can take down just about anything you put up anyways. Improved the detection of ambient sounds in player bases during terraforming. The ambience in player-based cellars the ambience in player-based cellars sounds less like natural caves now. The improvements of ambient sounds in the base will continue. Fixed visual detail glitches in roofs. Yes, that was such a pet peeve of mine. Increased the durability of several dungeon materials against powder bombs. Fixed a way to bypass the maximum of bases that the current frame level would normally support. Okay. Fixed a bug where the action bar couldn't be cycled with the mouse wheel while the control key was pressed. Now, to round out the patch notes, they also have some UI fixes here. And it goes as follows. Fix several areas with overwhelming text in various languages. Overflowing text in various languages. Improved several smaller layout issues. Fixed several text issues for weapon and armor stats. Added fixes to Japanese, simplified and traditional Chinese localization. Fixed several smaller text issues in the game. And that's it. That's the entirety of the patch that was released a few hours ago. And so what I want you guys to do for me is to sign out in the comments. Let me know what you think about the patch itself. Let me know fixes that you guys are glad it was added or made to the game. And let me know about that, about the water aura nerf to the game, and also some of the traversal glitches the few of us have been using, a few players have been using. Let me know. Just sign on the comment, let me know how you guys feel about this patch itself. And that's about it. And so with that, fellow Flameborn, keep having awesome adventures out there in the world of Enshrouded. And we'll be out. I'll see you later. Peace.